SIMP. Noun. An unavoidable fact of this reality and all others. According to Urban Dictionary, a man that puts too much value on a female for no reason. A square with no game other than rolling out the red carpet for every female. Among other definitions, that is. And if you need an example of a simp in pop culture, look no further than Mordecai from The Regular Show. A man with such abrasive simp sensibilities, he has warranted a 3-part compilation of his simping activity, a video expose revealing him as the biggest simp in cartoon history, and a roundtable discussion over whether or not him or Finn from Adventure Time is the bigger simp. Spoiler, it's Mordecai. Never disrespect Finn like that again, or so help me, you're gonna have a boot-shaped scar on your crotch. Hi again, crabs, and welcome back to the War Room. It's time to plan. The simp invasion has been well underway for some time now. It began en masse on TikTok before leaking to Twitter, YouTube, and any other social media you can think of. The mimetic cancer that is the word simp has been used to divide and conquer our people, infecting both sides of the conflict, turning us against each other. Ever since it leaked into our dimension from the abyss, it's as if it's only gotten stronger with time, and no one really knows how to stop it. But Sun Tzu once said, if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. We know ourselves, or at least I know ourselves. I know I'm really cool and that almost half of you watching right now aren't subscribed, but you didn't know that. So the first step in our fight against the simps is simple. The answer is within us. You must like the video, subscribe to the Kwite YouTube channel, and turn on notifications in order to know who you yourself truly are. You did all those things? Good. Now that we both know ourselves, we must also know the enemy. And our information is sadly limited. What makes a simp is unclear, even amongst simps. Neither we nor they know what binds them all together under a single banner. The calling card of the simp, sucked in by mediocre pussy. Even if we look to our ancestors who foresaw this great crisis, Mac Damage the Great in particular, the man who prepared for this event in 2012, leaving us precious information he knew we would need to combat this enemy on the previously referenced Urban Dictionary. In the document that he left to us, there are still 4 separate definitions of the word simp that he gives to us, some of which conflict with each other. That one can be a man, but also be a square. That one can put value on a female for no reason, but also be doing it in hopes of sexual gratification. It's possible that this Urban Dictionary definition is simply a collection of how the words were used at the time of its inception, not a steadfast catalog of hard information. But if this is the case, it means we must dig deeper. It appears we'll have to reach inside of our souls and find our own inner simps to learn what it is to truly be one in order to finally smite our foe. But to blend in with the simp, I need insider information. I need to interrogate one of their own. Luckily, I think I know just the person I need to talk to for this job.
Hello, James. I'll be frank. I'm here for one reason.
You're not called Frank, you're called Kwite.
Don't talk over me. You have a girlfriend, do you not, James?
Yeah, I do.
Why do you have a girlfriend, would you say? Why do you choose to do what you do for someone as you do?
I mean, it's not that much of an issue, is it? It's just like someone that I really got on with. I wanted to start a relationship, you know? Be a team. I feel like that's a good thing, right?
Is that so?
Yeah. Why? What's the narrative? Like, what's the issue here?
Next, I'm going to ask you a series of motivation analysis queries. Please answer with honesty. Would you say roll out the red carpet for her?
I mean, if she's had a bad day, maybe.
Would you do anything to protect her or make her happy?
I mean, not everything. I do quite a few things.
Would she do as she asks of you, within reason, because you love her?
Yeah, of course. That's what that's a relationship.
Have you ever replied to her requests with the answer, yes, dear?
I mean, maybe as a joke. Like, I've made a few jokes like that, yeah.
Curious that you would say that.
Curious? What's wrong?
Would you do as she says as a means of placation? Say she's angry?
I mean, she doesn't really get angry with me. But I guess if I've done something wrong and I have to correct that, then yeah, no, I can't see a particular issue with that.
Okay then.
What is this? Is this like...
That'll be all, Mr. Marriott. Thank you for your time.
What was that? Like, what?
James Marriott, an old friend lost to a new scourge. They really have taken everything from me. The simp virus has infected every aspect of my life, ripped everything I care about from my arms as they cry, dragged away from me while I'm left there helpless, unable to do anything to stop them or fight back, but not for long. because we finally have what we need. Our expert researchers have discovered a process. The process of how simps are staying in the public discourse without us ever being able to hone in on a specific target. It's a long line of red herrings, lack of self-awareness, and convening with what we are in the early stages of discerning, but believed to be a hive mind. The simp infection takes place in 3 main phases that can occur over varying periods of time and in multiple orders. The first phase is such: struggle. The host body realizes that the foreign invader is within their system, and they struggle. They fight back. They are aware of what's at stake and lash out in hopes of delaying the inevitable. They do everything in their power not to simp and succumb to their base needs of validation, but it is all for naught. Destiny still arrives. And then, phase 2. Reckoning begins. After the virus has taken hold of its host body, the host will not truly know it isn't in control of itself. Their consciousness and remnants of their personality, the tatters of what once was. These things remain intact and carry that individual through their day-to-day lives while they believe that they have successfully fended off the infection. It's the perfect scheme. How can we identify these simps when they themselves don't even realize that they are become simps? But something will be different about them, and only someone with a trained eye can deduce this. They'll start simping in small ways, holding open doors for women, not being a piece of shit for once in their miserable lives, liking e-girl pics on Instagram and Twitter, maybe even replying or commenting on them if they are particularly susceptible. But as this otherworldly disease, this impossible extra-dimensional thing that should not exist, continues to assert its control, their actions will become only more erratic. They will begin tuning into e-girl live streams, and they might become regulars if they have too much free time. Or if they have none, then they may begin starting to forego their responsibilities in order to make free time for the e-girl. And before too long has passed, they make their first donation in hopes of getting the e-girl's attention. And when this time has come, there is almost no turning back. A side note, but at this time, it's unknown if the e-girls are directly connected and working in tandem with the simp phenomena, opportunists making the most money they can during wartime like the greedy capitalists they are, or simply innocent bystanders caught in the crossfire of war, or perhaps something else entirely. Regardless, the third phase of this disease is where things become murkier. We suspected earlier that a hive mind is what controls the simps, but we have no confirmation. And the leading piece of evidence against this theory is that there appears to be no direct neural link between a greater hyperintelligence and its pawns in the field. At least not to start. The working theory is that the individual instances of the simp virus, while powerful, do not contain the capabilities for that kind of communication on their own. They need the host body to amplify their powers in order to achieve this at all. And once they've obtained a host body, the supposed hyperintelligence needs to identify them on social media through their behavior, that they are indeed under its control. But when they do, they assimilate the host body and its consciousness into the virus's ecosystem, which brings us to stage 3. Wider task management. If the host body has been recognized and assimilated, it is tasked with a responsibility. Some of these simps are to continue as they were in order to maintain their presence, but sometimes they are sent back behind enemy lines to act as if they have not become a simp or were never one at all. They do this in order to relay information and to sow subterfuge and chaos among the ranks of us that are left. But I say it's time we commit a little espionage ourselves, because now that we have identified the process, there is one glaring weakness that we can take advantage of: the identification process. Through our studies, we have managed to isolate the key behavior of the standard simp, and if we can successfully emulate those behaviors, we can get an operative picked up by the hyperintelligence. But whoever does it will be in for a doozy, as the kids say. This operation is classified and can't be revealed to the public for fear of it getting out, and thus their behaviors will be under ridicule from the masses, who will accuse them of being the very thing they are acting to destroy. And they must be able to weather that storm if this operation is to be a success. And that is why I have determined that the only person who can do this is me. I cannot in good conscience subject my men to this strife. They aren't ready. I alone am uniquely equipped to shoulder this burden. You all may never see me again, but know that I'm doing this for you. Not for the accolades, not for the awards or the e-pussy, but for you. Men, women, and other alike. My brothers in arms no matter who or what you are. And so here is my game plan. The first stage. I will act as if I fight against the simp virus internally. Pretend that I believe myself winning this struggle, even though there is no virus in my system to begin with. So horny. Must not simp, I write through blurred vision and watery eyes, knowing that with this step, I say goodbye to my old life and everything that I have left, in service of the greater good. I doubted my convictions once, but the people encourage me on, rooting for me in a war that I'm not truly waging. It's not their words that push me forward, but the reminder that I do it for them. Simp for me, a random e-girl demands. LMAO no, I respond. Not in a last stand of defiance or grand statement kind of way, mostly just for shits and giggles, before I enter a place where I will be unable to shit or giggle any longer. The time for stage 2 arrives. I must emulate the behavior of a man turned simp. I propose the question, who do I endorse for president? And with a heavy heart and clammy hands, I write, the girl reading this. And it is here that the masses turned against me. To them, it is as if my battle against the disease has been lost, and that their passion for me has been misplaced and was for nothing. I try to tell myself that these comments only mean that the plan is working, that they will indenture the hyperintelligence to bring its attention to me, a hotspot of simp activity. But I fail with this line of thinking, and it's only through sheer force of will that I keep moving forward. Thus far, there has been no contact, but that doesn't mean it's over. I must continue on to stage 3, acting as a pseudo-sleeper agent, as an individual host who sees the benefit in stealth and subtlety, one who thought of this on my own. By pretending to be a host body, pretending to be another thing. My brain hurts at the layers of it all. God, I hate onions, but I know what must be done. Simps are dangerous, infectious, they must be contained, I tweet. It is my final gambit. And it fails. I have had no contact with this theoretical hyperintelligence, and my reputation has been decimated in order to make this mission possible, and it really was for nothing. I gave everything I had to this cause. My worldly possessions, sure, but more importantly, my sweat, my blood, myself, and I have nothing to show for it but my failure. So I leave you in shame that I have nothing to report.